Hey, welcome to episode 5 of the Mile 20 podcast, where epic shit happens. I'm Laura, and I'm here with my bestie, Lori, in episode 5. So today we have a fun show. We are first going to cover Maniacs, Shut Up and Dance, and the No Shower Happy Hour. Sounds kind of gross, but...
I love myself a no shower happy hour.
No shower happy hour. And then we'll cover our beverage of the week, our Mile 20 beverage. And then we'll talk a little bit about what we've been up to. You were kind of busy on Friday.
Yeah.
Go Birds.
Friday and today.
Yes.
Go Birds.
Yes. And then we are going to cover the Rehoboth Marathon in Delaware. It was a great race, and we're really excited to go and share our fun experiences in Rehoboth.
Yes.
And then a little teaser for episode number 6, and we'll talk a little bit about Boston. We ran Boston. Shipping it off to Boston.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
Great song.
Yes. So what's the Mile 20 beverage today?
Today, we are doing a tribute to Dos Locos, located in Rehoboth. Post-marathon, they have a fabulous, which we'll get into this in a little bit, but they do have a really nice after party for the Rehoboth Marathon. But after that, we decided we wanted to continue. And I think on our walk back to the hotel, we're like, ooh, Mexican, there's a restaurant, Dos
We were
Locos.
kind of staggering back to the hotel.
Yeah, maybe a little. And then we're like, ooh, chips and salsa
And then you
margaritas.
Then you were like, I got my credit card.
Yeah, I'm like, let's go. So we bellied up to the bar and had margaritas.
In the corner. In the corner.
Yeah, far away. So we were having margaritas.
So margaritas. Ay. Oh, mine's kind of like a little slushy. All right.
Yeah, but that's good because it's nice and cold.
That's good.
That is good.
These are the skinny ones too.
I can tell,
I'm trying to help.
which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But man, I really like a solid margarita. But
Yeah,
these
but
are skinnies.
But that's good. I actually don't. I prefer it not
I
being
need
overly sweet.
I need a skinny margarita today.
all
I'm
need
feeling a little out of control, but it's all good. It's all good.
It was like the holiday because of the birds going so deep into the season. It's almost like
tailgating.
the holidays was extended.
The tailgating just killed us.
I'll just after the next game, I promise I'll eat well.
And then they won.
And then they won.
Yes.
And it's okay. After the NFC Championship. Okay. After the
I start
Super Bowl.
tomorrow. I start tomorrow. This was my last weekend. So, all right. So, I'll talk a little bit about my weekend.
Yes, please start.
You
had a fabulous weekend.
Yeah, it was nice. So for Christmas, Jim had gotten me a spa treatment at this place called the Inn at Perry Cabin, which is in St. Michael's, Maryland. So it's about a 2-hour drive, maybe 2 hours, 15 minutes away.
Is that like St. Michael's is kind of like quintessential Chesapeake Bay town, right?
It is. It almost reminds me of a little teeny nibble of like Martha's Vineyard. Mm-hmm. Like it has a very colonial feel to it. A lot of cute restaurants, really, really nice, tidy yards and houses and so forth. And I don't know, I just really, really enjoyed it. So we went and stayed at the Inn at Perry Cabin and absolutely loved it. It's a beautiful property, very kind of, it's shishi.
Yeah.
And
of course.
Yes, of course.
You love your shishi
I
hotels.
love my shishi hotels.
I do too.
So we had an absolutely fantastic dinner on Friday night. It wasn't like we had planned this for Valentine's Day because Jim and I we don't really do Valentine's Day.
It just worked out perfect.
It just worked out perfectly for him. I was like, oh, score you. You went and did a Christmas present and a Valentine's Day present all in one. So we had a great dinner. I did my spa on Saturday. Now, the funny thing about this is that I had Katie at the spa who did my massage, and then Caitlin did my facial. And Caitlin was hysterical. As soon as I started talking about, she made a comment about my green nail polish because I still have green nail polish on from the Super Bowl last weekend.
Did you think you were into Wicked?
And she was like, I'm hoping that your green polish is maybe about football stuff. And the next thing you know, I dropped an F-bomb and I was like, fuck yeah, and our conversation just went off the rails after that.
Is she Birds fan?
And total Birds fan,
Nice.
out of Maryland, which I love, on the Eastern Shore. And we just had an absolutely fantastic conversation. I don't know. My facial was supposed to be 45 minutes long. I don't even know if it was 45 minutes long
Wow.
because we just got to talking like so much. And I don't know. It was just, it made it a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those experiences are great when you connect with people like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And especially like just being a Birds fan. And then we went to Theo's for dinner that night in St. Michael's and had an absolutely fabulous steak dinner and what have you. So it was chill. Jim fell asleep Saturday night, when we got back from dinner. So I'm like, all right, what am I supposed to do? So I sat down and watched TV and watched the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl.
Well, I have to say, so Laura was texting me some photos too, and there was some partaking as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Was that Friday night?
Which picture?
I don't know. I felt like you were like, there was bubblies, there was wine.
Oh, that was definitely Friday night. Yeah. And Jim fell asleep too on Friday night.
Oh, no.
I'm like, dude, I got the hollow leg,
Yeah, but he went down there and he's like, blah, relaxed.
Yeah. He totally relaxed, which was needed. We've been just running around like crazy and stuff. So yeah, that was my last of my couple of weekends, back to back to back, trips. So,
You'll be home this weekend?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to...
we're recording on Sunday, by the way.
Yes.
I know we drop on Thursday,
yes.
but we're discussing all this on Sunday.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a couple of like local things planned next weekend, and Maddie's birthday is tomorrow. So she turns a big 29.
Where are you guys going to dinner? Is that a surprise?
It's a surprise.
Well, yeah, but this will be Thursday.
Oh yeah. So supposedly we're going to go to Topgolf, and I say supposedly because here in the Philadelphia area we have been experiencing like a terrible storm with like 50 plus mile an hour winds.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's crazy windy out there tonight.
So if it's kind of like the Philly Marathon and we have a tailwind, my shit's gonna look freaking awesome when I'm like freaking hitting the balls and they're gonna go just launching. If it's a headwind, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if Matthew. We'll see next week if we actually do Topgolf and whatnot. So yeah. I don't know. So how about your weekend? What'd you do?
Friday was really cool.
Epic.
I got my youngest, Ella. She was a trooper, got up with me at 5:30. Well, no, I'm sorry. She probably got up at like 3:30, 3:45 because she was dog sitting for you while you guys were
Stayed
away.
at our house.
And she came home. She was home by 4:15 in the morning, and we were packed up by 4:45 and made our way down to South Philly for the Birds homecoming parade, bringing the Lombardi Trophy right down the Ben Franklin Parkway. But we decided the last time in 2018, Laura and I went to that victory parade, and we were up by the art museum.
That was a mistake.
That was a little crazy. But this time, like, Ella was kind of hesitant, and she's like, are you sure you can't find anybody else to go? Well, I wind up connecting with some of DJ's swim parents that we know through the University of Delaware. And they're like, listen, we're going to South Philly. I found a parking spot. It's over by this church. And I'm like, you know what? Safety in numbers. I'm going to meet you down there.
Yeah.
So we were texting back and forth. So I get down there, find street parking for free.
Which is crazy.
It was wide open. By the time I was on Bigler and Broad, so really close to the start, I would say maybe a half mile from the start of the parade. And the fence line, like there was a few people still out. There were some dudes caddy corner from us that had like 4 huge speakers off of the back of a pickup truck. But like it was still plenty of room. So we were able to belly right up to the front of the railing, front row for the parade. And we sat and we waited, partaked in many beverages before.
You had to keep warm.
Oh, yeah. We were keeping warm.
Yeah.
There was I made spike cider with
rum.
rum.
Nice. Oh, you make some good spike cider.
Yeah, I made the spike cider, but we went through that really, really fast. And then there was like espresso martinis and pickleback shots.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right.
Like a lot going on before, 9 a.m.
Yes.
Like at 9 a.m. you're going, oh my God, it's only 9 a.m.
But you did say that there was a Porta-John.
There was
Very
a
close to you.
line of them, and they learned. So the last race we went to, the Porta-Johns were really close to the parade
The
route.
last parade we went to.
What did I say?
Race.
Oh my God.
We have races on our mind.
Yeah, I want to run. I do. I got Rehoboth on my mind. The last parade we went to in 2018, the Porta-Johns were really close to where the actual parade route was, and people were sitting on top of the Porta-Johns.
Yes.
And the Porta-Johns were absolutely destroyed because we were up by the art museum, which is, as if anybody saw the pictures of the 1 million+ people that were at this parade.
That's for real.
It was for real, and
Yeah.
it was insane. But this one, it was almost a block off of the parade route, so it was the lines flowed. Nobody was standing on
great.
top of them. It felt very safe to go over there. Lots of kids in the area, so it felt more family friendly in South Philly.
Good. I did ask you,
Yes.
one of the first things I asked you was, you're not sitting under a tree, right?
No. Oh, God. Yeah. In 2018, we were sitting under a tree, and some jackass, because we climb things. Everybody knows.
Everybody climbs stuff in
Everybody
Philadelphia.
in Philly, we like to climb, okay? I don't know why, but we climb. Anyway, some jackass climbs a tree. This is, again, 2018. And gets up there, I guess, and decides he can't come back down to take a leak or go to the Porta-John. So he proceeds to take, like, a water bottle, 16-ounce, a little water bottle, and piss into it, while there is a crowd of people underneath the tree. He overflows said water bottle and then proceeds to accidentally drop it into the crowd underneath of him.
It was bad.
It was disgusting.
was
Anyway, so I said, fuck no.
So
I
was like,
learned that
good,
lesson
yes,
the first
do not
time.
sit under a tree.
Absolutely not. So anyway, it was just, I don't know. The parade started at 11, and the city of Philadelphia did a great job. They said if you're planning on attending, I don't know how they knew I was going, but there was like a text message thing. I guess maybe because of being season ticket holders, they text messaged out like opt in if you're going to the parade. You can get alerts. So I was getting alerts. It's 10:55. They're all locked and loaded. The parade's about to begin. And then they're turning on to Broad. Like I kept getting updates all day long
that's
about how
nice.
they're proceeding down.
Because
Yeah.
they were,
It was great.
The last parade, they were almost, 2 hours late?
Well,
almost.
yeah, but we were at the far side.
No,
of
I know
it,
we were at the
though.
far side, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was almost like 2 hours later than expected.
Yeah, it was late.
It was late.
It was late.
Yeah.
But they were down by us at like 11:15, and I think because we were at the earlier. God, I hate giving away this secret, just in case it ever happens again in my lifetime. Like, go towards the art museum, everybody in Center City, please. That's the way better place. But everybody was still kind of sober at that point. The players,
Yeah.
they were hyped and excited, and
Interacting.
They were interacting a lot. I mean, hell, Saquon was holding the Lombardi Trophy, walking by. I got to slap him while he was holding the Lombardi Trophy. It was like I was crying a little. Not gonna lie. I mean, I got to see Jordan Mailata up close. I mean, just the players were right there, and it was such a great time.
That's awesome.
And then once they were gone, I mean, even the cops were out there. They were playing football. Like, it was a great time. Yeah.
It's like quintessential Philly.
As pandemonium as the Super Bowl win looked on Broad Street, where you saw all the degenerates defacing our city, this was the complete opposite. I know that there were some instances, as when you have that many people in one spot, there will be instances. But I felt like that entire day was full of peace and love for that team. And I hope they felt that, because it was as a spectator, it was really heartwarming. And it made me love my city so much more. And I'm tearing up just thinking about it right now.
I absolutely love it. And I got a chance in between like conference calls, because I worked on Friday, and in between conference calls, I watched the speeches.
Yeah.
And the speeches were just awesome.
Yes.
They just, I think each player that did speak, it really epitomized kind of like the persona that they gave off on the field, you know, to the players or to the fans as well. So yeah, I love it that you and Ella got a chance to go down and experience that.
I also thought it was hysterical because I was able, because we were so early, the speeches didn't start until 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So I was at home by 1:30.
That's just awesome.
Which is crazy.
Because I think the last parade, because I took the train.
3:30, 4.
Oh no! Jim and I went and grabbed dinner, so we took the train back, and we were on like a line outside of 30th Street Station waiting for trains. We didn't get home until like 9:30 last time.
Yeah,
it
no,
was
those
crazy.
lines looked insane, and I appreciate that so many people did do that because I felt like they kind of sacrificed a little bit, and I was able to drive in, but I also got up early in order to do that, and driving that early makes it easier. But I was cracking up at home listening to the speeches because God, the networks could not keep up with the cursing that was going on.
No, and you'd hear the curse, and then it was like a beep, and then
I'm so sorry.
And then it would be like, well, we were watching it on, I think we were watching it on NBC. And so you'd hear the curse, and then it was total silence.
Right.
And we heard the curse, but we didn't hear the rest of the speech.
Right. Well, it's Fox because I happened to just be on Fox, and it would be like, fuck, beep. And like, oh, I'm so sorry. So Jordan Mailata is very excited right now about his time in this run and towards the Super Bowl. And fucking shit, beep. And then like, we're so sorry. Again, so sorry.
Oh, they kept apologizing?
Yeah, every time it happened, there was an apology. It was hysterical.
NBC did not apologize. You heard the curse, and then it was silence.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So that was Friday.
Great day.
Yeah, it was a perfect day. And Dave and I just had like a chill dinner, didn't do much for Valentine's Day. Saturday was low key, and then today we had a really cool day. The kids all had gotten, my husband and I both graduated from Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton.
FAU.
And with that, we enjoyed the whole Final Four season where we got to go for basketball. And we made it. It was incredible that season.
It was a good run.
It was a great run.
Yeah.
And rare because it's a tiny little school. Anyway, the kids were sweet. For Christmas, they got us tickets because they're up here playing Temple. So it's courtside. So we were right
nice.
we were
done,
right
Maggie.
there. And it was a close game. Wasn't sure we were going to win it. There was a little bit of a controversial call towards the end about a possession, but FAU wound up pulling it off and winning.
Nice.
And then Dave drove me down to meet Maggie. Was hanging out with a couple friends from Florida. Caitlin's a close family friend, and her mom, Lisa. But Caitlin was up visiting another friend, Skylar, and Skylar, Kylie, Caitlin, Maggie. They were and Connor. They were all at Angelo's in South Philly. I'm always Pat's and Geno's when it comes to cheesesteaks. I really don't venture outside that.
I've never been to Pat's or Geno's.
Oh, well, yeah, it's the gluten thing. I get it.
I just can't.
You can't.
I can't.
But
they'd haze me if I got up to the corner saying, no bread. They'd be like, get out of here.
Supposedly, Angelo's is like really like the place. And it's been many years since I've done Pat's and Geno's, so I can't attest to what's going on there. But I can tell you, Angelo's had an 1.5 to 2 hour wait.
Which is crazy.
It's just a window. And you order.
And it's cheesesteak.
It's a cheesesteak. You order your cheesesteak, and then they would happen to be, I met them at a little Mexican place around the corner, and went and picked them up, and oh my God, they were so like,
did they do whiz?
Cheesy.
Did they do the whiz? No whiz?
Well,
or provolone? Or
so it was like Cooper Sharp cheese and fried onions.
Oh my God.
And the cheese was throughout the meat. Like,
it was like cooked in. Like they were like,
it was cooked and melty in, and the onions were good. And it was interesting because they make the rolls fresh every day, and they're like a sesame roll. So
oh wow, really?
Yeah. So like it was like an
different.
Interesting, because that sesame has a distinct flavor to it that it added. Oh my God, these things were amazing.
How big was it?
Well, we split.
That's what she always asks.
It's like it was 12 inches.
Oh, okay. Well, that was okay.
Sorry. So my fingers were placed less than 12 inches as a joke. Anyway, and then we decided to go into the city, and we hit McGillin's.
Oh, McGillin's.
Well, actually, we went to Barstool first, which, as an older person,
I've never been to Barstool.
Didn't fully grasp the importance, but the kids love the Barstool.
We'll have to go to the Barstool when we do the Liberty Bell, and
yeah, we'll go to the Barstool.
We'll go to the Barstool.
I keep saying the Barstool just to be funny.
We'll go to Barstool.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we sound hip. Instead of the Facebook, it's Facebook.
Yes. And then we went to McGillen's.
Okay.
Just because Kylie had never been.
Oh, you got to go. You have to go to McGillen's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And McGillen's just quintessential Philly.
Yeah.
And it's all still decorated Phillies and green. And,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Nice.
It was great.
Nice.
So that was the day, and then we wound up coming back here.
I know it's late on a Sunday night, and I got to work in the morning, and I'm just like, yeah, baby. Cheers to that.
Yes.
Yay. All right, so let's get into Rehoboth. So why did we choose the Rehoboth Beach Marathon in Delaware?
Well, if you're running the 50 states, you're going to have to run in Delaware eventually. But I think this one hit at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd learned when I was in Florida, that crazy guy that I used to run with, Chuck, he was always running a marathon a month. And he's like, yeah, if you run a marathon a month, you never have to train. And I was like, oh, I kind of stored that information in the back of my head.
I remember the first time you told me that. And I'm like, dude, you're freaking crazy. A marathon a month. That's for real.
It's for real.
That's for real.
And in 2014, I had run many back to back to back. And he had also taught me a few things about some of the crazy clubs that are out there. So he had also taught me about the 50 States Club. So like once you've hit 10 different states, you can join this club called the 50 States Club and start tracking. And when you're done, they give you a very nice, which maybe we should bring in at some point. We'll bring it in after our 50th.
Yeah.
When we've earned it.
Yes. Yes. We've earned telling the stories.
Yeah. They give you a nice trophy when you're finished. And he was a Marathon Maniac, which is this crazy ass marathoning group, Marathon Maniacs. They also have a Half Fanatics group associated with them too. And I think that there may be something with ultras and the 100 Marathons Club but anyway, they have a lot of subcategories within the club.
Yeah, sub-crazies, yeah.
So they have these 9 different levels of membership. I'm going off on a tangent from your original question.
It's okay. You're going into why we also chose
this.
Rehoboth.
Yeah. So they have 9 different levels of crazy. The entry level is 2 marathons in 2 weeks.
2 marathons in 16 days or 3 marathons in 90 days.
Yes, 2 marathons, 16. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, 3 in 90.
Yeah.
So I qualified in 2014, but signed up after we ran Marine Corps. I became a member in October 27th.
Right.
And you knew.
Yes. Yeah. And when we started running more races together, we started seeing people with these crazy shirts.
Yes.
And their mascot on their shirts is absolutely
heinous.
It's heinous. It's like this. It's a guy. Well, now they have girls, right?
Yeah.
So they have guys and girls, and it's a cartoon character, and the character has a cat on its head, and it's got these really bulging eyes.
This is like Bloodshot, right?
Yeah,
Bloodshot eyes.
Yeah, and a watch that's saying beep beep beep, and yeah, it's just the most heinous. We'll for those of you who are following us on social media, we'll actually put some pictures out on our Instagram and our Facebook under Mile 20 Podcast, and we will go and show you what this mascot looked like. But we sell these shirts all over the place. And it says Marathon Maniacs, and at first I was like, oh my gosh, they're crazy. That's like a whole other level. And then we decided to go and run Rehoboth because then I could also go and qualify, with like that you had already qualified.
Yeah, because
to be in the club.
Between Marine Corps in October and then Philly in November, and then Rehoboth is always, I feel like the first Saturday of December.
It is. We ran it December 5th of 2015. Yeah, and it's the first Saturday of December.
And that's another perk to having, like choosing Rehoboth. I mean, it's coastal, so it's
going to be maybe a little bit warmer.
Yeah, and B, it's a rare Saturday race.
Yes.
There aren't a lot of them, and it's really nice to have a Saturday race just simply because you have Sunday to recover.
Absolutely.
As opposed to getting right back into your week.
Yes.
And all the travel logistics involved in that.
Yes. Yeah.
So I always think that that's a big perk.
Yeah,
with that
I
one,
could
too.
probably count on like 3 fingers how many times we've run a Saturday race.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you were able to get your Maniac status.
I was able to get my Maniac status. So I, immediately signed up and, got the shirts and so forth. So when we ran Rehoboth, Lori wore her Marathon Maniac shirt with this crazy, logo on it and stuff, and I did not. So then after that, we could match. So then it became, I think after that, it
We
became
started
very
matching.
important where we started matching in our
Yes.
races, where we would wear the same shirt, the same gear, same colors of things and so forth.
Yeah, I would almost say that like we forged a friendship at Marine Corps. We ran Philly together. And then I feel like by the time we hit Rehoboth, we were like, we're doing this and we're doing this together.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
it's going to be matching, like the whole thing.
Yeah,
The whole thing.
And I'll actually before jumping into like the specifics about the race, I will say that when you talked about earlier when we hit Dos Locos, right? So after the after party that the race put on, we kind of staggered down to this Mexican restaurant. We were stinky. We were really stinky.
God, yeah. I mean, we just ran a marathon.
And it was a little warmer. It was like in the 50s, right, when we finished,
it was
which
like
is
a
really
beautiful,
really rare,
sunny, beautiful 50-something degree day in December.
So we were ripe, and so we walk in and we're like, hee, we smell so bad, like we're gonna go at the bar. Oh, we're gonna go in the corner of the bar, It's like let's put baby in the corner, put her in the corner, tight.
Yeah.
And so we ordered chips and salsa, which was absolutely fantastic, and we ordered these big margaritas, and that was when I solidified, doing the 50 states with you, because you looked at me, and I'll never forget this, and you might forget this because
I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to say you're doing this. You're doing it with me, aren't you?
I was like, yes, I am. And then I went into work. I started talking to my husband, family, and I started not saying that, oh, Lori's running the 50 states, like we're running the 50 states. So really this was kind of like this is the turning point of going not only into the Marathon Maniacs, but I guess that's kind of like crazy.
Into the madness.
But it was like into the madness, like Marathon Maniacs and Dos Locos, which are the two crazies.
Yes.
Couldn't have been any more perfect than that.
So poetic.
So this definitely solidified it. So this is where we did start our no shower happy hour, and we have done in our travels many of those.
Many no shower happy hours.
For hours we've been at a bar
and
in our stink.
And we really kind of stopped caring about putting ourselves in the corner.
No, we would just go sit right in the middle of the bar. We're like, we're here.
Here we are.
Can you smell us?
Here's my babe. But on the flip side, too, I mean, we were kind of a little bit further behind everybody else finishing. So people around us are wearing their medals and they're all showered.
And they're all showered and stuff. And
like,
we're just still coming off of the course. And they're like, you just came off of the course? Like, wow.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Yep. And now we're drinking. Yep. All right. So it's a Saturday race. It's a beach town. So maybe before jumping into the race, we talk a little bit about Rehoboth, because I love Rehoboth.
Yeah, Rehoboth's a great town.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour drive away. So Delaware is south of Philadelphia, so it's a 2-hour drive south of our area. And I had actually been there twice before on vacation, and stayed at, like VRBO, Airbnb, type of place with family, and just absolutely love it. They have some fantastic restaurants there. Lots of cool things to do. They have a boardwalk.
Yeah.
Right.
Although it is important to know that if you do go in December, it is off season.
It is way off season.
So not everything is open and available at that time.
Which we found out the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
In a little bit.
Yeah. So, and then, where we stayed. So we drove down because we're in the Philadelphia area. And we stayed at a place called the Atlantic Sands Hotel, which is right on the ocean front. There's several restaurants, several hotels right along the ocean.
Yeah, why did you pick that one? Because Laura made the arrangements for this.
Well, I picked it because it looked nicer than the other ones by way of the pictures online. But then it was only about 2 blocks away from the start,
which was perfect.
which was absolutely perfect. And, it was just so easy for us to, you use your bathroom, to the nth hour, before you leave. So you don't have to stand out at the start, for a really long period of time.
Yeah.
So that worked out really well. And because it was off season as well, the price was like,
yeah.
I mean, it was super, super reasonable. And we did get a chance after the race to sit out on the balcony.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it was so beautiful.
It was.
It really was a nice day.
It was. And just got to see the winter ocean,
and
coming
Ned
in.
got his angel share.
Yeah. We sat and we
Oh my God, we had Fireball.
I know we
after
did.
that.
We
I just
did.
forgot we had a Fireball out on the
We
balcony.
did. We did the after party, and then we had margaritas, and then we did Fireball out on the balcony. But we did not use the bitch bottle. So
Did we start the bitch bottle
we
there?
did. We did.
I was wondering because I thought that
we
might
did.
have been.
We did. I had bought a bottle of Moet Imperial Ice.
And Chandon.
Yeah, Moet and Chandon. And it's Imperial Ice. My husband and I had it when we were in St. Martin, and then they pour it over ice, actually, in St. Martin.
Ooh, and you even brought fresh mint. Did you not?
We
if I
did.
remember
We
correctly.
did. I freaking plucked it out of my garden and I put it in a little Ziploc bag, and we never went and drank it.
Well, I wonder
and at
why.
And at that point in time, we were doing a lot of races up in the Northeast, so this bottle ended up coming along with us, and for some reason we just never got the opportunity to open it up, so we just kept calling it our bitch bottle. Like, the
was our
bitch
bitch
bottle's
bottle.
coming with us, we're gonna open. I don't even remember when we actually
will,
ended up
because
drinking
I
it,
think
but
I remember taking a
Did
picture.
you take a picture of it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when the bitch. We'll come across it, I'm sure, soon.
yeah. So, but we did do Fireball, and the one shot like we talked
Because
about.
when you have a choice between really nice champagne and
Or
Fireball, I mean, come on, that's a no-brainer.
Gross. Oh my God. But we did do the shot to Ned and poured that over the balcony. And then we were like, oh shit, maybe we should have looked to go see if anybody was down below. We're like, oh, like running back in our room.
I think we were clear.
Yeah, I
It's
think
all
we were
right.
clear.
It's all
I think we
right.
were clear. So, all right. So it was a little chilly when we started, but ended up being a nice day. So
It was.
Yeah. So let's talk about the course.
So we started the gazebo, and you mosey your way down through the center of
You
town.
mosey.
You mosey. Well, I'm moseying.
Check. I'm moseying. Keep going. I'm moseying. I'm moseying.
You take your little self down through the middle of town, kind of to the outskirts, and I think
moseying.
you circle around. I think it's the south side of Rehoboth, and you kind of go to the end of the boardwalk, and then you run about a mile on the boardwalk, which was really nice.
Yeah, which was really nice.
Yeah.
Nice on the feet.
It's very the joints and the view, because
Yeah.
you get the beach and everything. And then you kind of take a little bit of city roads, but you stay kind of coastal. And there is a lovely state park,
Yes.
Camp Henlopen
That's a mouthful.
State Park. Yes.
State Park, yes. Is that where they had all the bridges, like the boardwalk bridges?
Yes.
That was
and
cool.
marshy.
That was cool.
My favorite part was the pillboxes. They have these really cool World War II pillboxes.
Yes.
Was that a Army, Navy? Like, do you know what that was?
I mean,
As my resident
it could-
military expert.
It could have been either in the area, but chances are they had some pretty decent sized guns.
Yeah.
That were fastened into the pillboxes just because of monitoring the ocean and so forth.
Yeah.
During World War II. So.
Well, hell, you know that they weren't that far off the coast.
Yeah, but the fact that like Delaware is so flat and these things were like basically on the beaches.
Yeah.
So it's not like they had like in Hawaii, the ones that we saw where they were, super elevated and they could see like miles and miles and miles. I mean,
Right.
These were okay. They're right on
Although
us.
I felt like maybe there were some dunes. Was there a little elevation? You have to pardon us because that was 10 years ago almost.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
9 years ago.
I don't remember there being a lot of elevation.
No, I don't
on
think
that
we
race.
ran any
Yeah.
elevation, but I feel like there were there may have
Yeah,
been
there could have been some dunes that
some
they were on.
dunes that they
yeah.
were on.
Yeah, yeah. But the
But
dunes weren't very big.
No, but you spend a lot of time. So this part of the course is like an extremely, I think about mile 4, you start hitting towards the Camp Henlopen area.
Yes.
And it's a very, very long out and back because the next time that you depart this is at mile 18. So it's actually this lovely state park that kind of sits between Rehoboth and Lewis, Delaware, which is another little coastal beach town.
Yeah, because we just touched like the very edge of Lewis, and
Yeah.
then turned around. I remember running through some parking lot. I'm like, this is rando.
Yeah, it was very random.
Yeah,
Like
it
there
was
was
like,
like a weird little turnaround
okay.
out and back thing. Yeah.
We're running through a parking lot.
Yeah, I'm like, well, we're in Lewis. Okay,
all
time
right,
to
here
turn
it
around and go
is. Blink
back.
your eyes.
Yeah. But if you remember in that part of the course, we saw this older gentleman that was running. We kind of passed him. And I remember we kind of had a brief conversation with him. He was a maniac. He had a bunch of people around him.
A bunch of people. Yeah.
And I don't know if he had the number on him or not, or whether we were like, hey, how many marathons have you ran? Because he was a marathon maniac. And he was like, over 1,500. And we're like,
Holy shit.
what?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
It gave perspective because here we were thinking that we were badasses, like running 3 marathons in like 90 days. And we were like, oh, like that's a whole other level of.
That's next. I don't know what that is.
That's not even next level. That's just his entire life.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
I don't even know if, that's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so you go back through Camp Henlopen,
Yes.
right? And then
I just want to hear you say that word like a bunch of times.
Henlopen.
Henlopen. One more time.
Henlopen.
Henlopen.
Anyway, so you go back through that state park. God darn it.
Henlopen.
Gosh darn it. And anyway, and then you kind of, when you come out of there, you then kind of zigzag and kind of skirt around the north part of Rehoboth. See, I don't know whether I'm oriented north, south, or east, west, but I guess it doesn't really matter. You're just going around the other side of Rehoboth than where you started.
Yes.
It takes you out west of Rehoboth to another little part of Camp Henlopen State Park.
Henlopen.
And there's a lovely greenway out there.
Yeah.
Is it Junction?
I don't know.
I know, I looked it up. Junction and Breakwater Trail. There's like a little greenway trail. But this is very important. This was our first time because after Philly, that was the Philly where we had the beverage for the first time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we decided with
Well,
your...
you had the beverage for the first time.
Right there. But
In Philly,
because of the lack of a gluten-free option, we
Yes.
decided, let's place something at mile 20 in Rehoboth.
Yes.
So our first mile 20 stop placement
Was in Rehoboth.
was in Rehoboth right before we entered onto that greenway. And we were able
So
to get
funny.
Laura a gluten-free beer.
Yep.
It was a beer, right?
I drank a gluten-free beer.
Yeah, we placed a little bag that said, please
Do not take, or like, it's just for the runners.
runner refreshment. We were so worried.
And just looking back at pictures, you had like a cloth bag.
I did. It was cloth, and I think we put red Solo cups in it.
We did have red Solo cups in there because
Yeah.
I remember after going behind the sign. So we get to the sign.
Yeah.
And
There was like a neighborhood. We were on a corner, and there was like a big kind of a neighborhood or industrial. I don't know. It was
a
barren.
it was a neighborhood
Was it
sign.
a neighborhood?
Yeah, it was because we came through like a bunch of houses and there was a neighborhood sign.
Yeah, and we kind of hid it like behind the hedges.
Yeah,
off the course.
So we go behind this sign, and that was really funny because next thing you know, we come out with like the red Solo cups, and I've always been an avid rule follower,
Yeah, military background.
right? And so I've
always been the opposite.
Totally
I've
the
always
opposite.
liked the gray areas.
yin yang.
Yes.
and unfortunately you've rubbed off terribly on me now. but I was worried because I knew that in Philly, right, like people were handing this stuff out, but here we are we're cracking open, alcohol. We're going to walk around with an open container. Oh my God, are they going to kick us off the course? I don't want to freaking do this race ever again.
Yeah.
So we're walking with these red Solo cups. And at that point in time, we stopped running, right? So we're walking.
Taking a walk break.
Yeah. And this, do you remember the one lady that ran by us? And she was like, oh my God, are you drinking alcohol? And we were like, yes.
What else do you think would be in my red Solo cup? Come on.
And then I'm like, okay, all right. Like, this is okay. This is okay. But then when we came back with when the cop was there at the corner.
Yeah.
And because we still had stuff, I think we had enough because
we didn't do 2 stops, did we? Not that one, did we?
Yeah. Yeah, we did because you went back over to the sign and the cop was like, oh, what do you got?
Oh, yes.
And then you were like, oh, do you want some? And he started laughing. And then I'm like, oh, okay, this is okay. Like he's not going to arrest us and throw us off the course,
No.
So, yeah. But that gravel, like we say it's gravel, but it was like nicely packed.
Yeah.
Like that was absolutely wonderful on our legs.
Yes. I remember feeling like the recovery from that race because of the time we spent on the trail was amazing.
Yeah, that was probably the first race where honestly, like afterward, like the next day, I was not hurting at all.
No.
And we would totally attribute it to having some soft pack, trail that we ran on between that and then the boardwalk and stuff. It was really nice on the body, and we just had a much quicker recovery time.
I feel like we started also, we would do this at the end of a race or even the next day. We would spend the night.
We still do it.
We would spend the night in the hotel. This is, I think, the first race we did it. We get up the next morning and we do the squat test.
Yeah.
We do kind of do like a couple of squats and we're like, holy shit. Like
look at me.
Like, look at me. I'm not sore doing squats.
Like I could sit on the toilet and not hurt.
The first few marathons you do, you cannot do that.
Yes.
And even some of the there were others after that.
Yes.
That I couldn't, depending on how we ran.
Yeah.
But that race, I was like, squat test approved.
Yeah.
This place is amazing.
I was like, man, bring the marathons on. Like, I'm ready for this because, like, if this is how I'm going to feel after a race, then just bring it.
Yeah.
But I was attributing it also to like having a mile 20 beverage.
Well, the mile 20 beverage helps.
It did because, all right. So let me describe this to people. So, as we're running the race and, we're getting tired and we're getting punchy, after a while and so forth.
I turn into a bitch sometimes.
Yeah. You get this alter ego every once in a while. But it's kind of cool because that race, I was actually looking forward to mile 20.
Yeah.
Because oh my gosh, we have beverages there and this is going to be really cool and, nice distraction and so forth. So like every race after that, it just is like this absolutely wonderful distraction that we look forward to mile 20.
I love hitting mile 20.
Every race. Now, I can't remember, did we hide the beverages the night before or did we do that the morning of? Because I know I get frantic when we do a morning drop. I get really stressed out.
I feel like that was a morning drop because I think we moved more primarily towards nighttime drops.
Yeah.
As we progressed.
Yeah.
I feel like that was
we kind of perfected that a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah. Because we got in late on Friday night too for that race. So that would make sense why we would do that on Saturday. Yeah, and in fact the picture I have, you're on your race clothes.
Yeah.
And you're like holding like the beers in the bag and stuff. So
and
we did do that in the morning.
Being so naughty.
Yeah, you were like hee look at what we're doing and then it just became like our thing,
Yeah.
So the finish was awesome at Rehoboth. I mean, they did a really nice job. And even though we were back of the Packers, they still had a ton of crowd there.
Yeah. So the half and the full marathon run together. So there's a definite split where you kind of are, there's a lot of people and then not a
lonely,
lot.
We're so lonely.
Yeah. So the half marathoners, I think, were having a great time because they had been at the finish for quite a while.
A while, yes.
But they had free beers at the end. They had a whole spread in that tent, that finish tent. I mean,
they did.
Pancakes, bacon, No eggs, I don't think. Beer, but they had a DJ. I feel like I remember people
They had
dancing.
they had a DJ.
People were dancing.
I mean, it was a party. It was
a party. And then I think when we got there, they were out of beer.
Mm-hmm.
And so because all the half marathoners were drinking all the beer.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a partner restaurant called the Cultured Pearl that they keep the upstairs open for marathoners and half marathon, the runners.
Which was actually nicer going up there and doing
Yeah, they
that.
had a lovely deck. I remember us being out on the deck, and so we were able to grab some beverages there. And it wasn't like just whatever kind of beer. They were actually letting you have their, I think you got a bottle of something. Was it a cider or Guinness? There.
I
remember
I was able to
getting
drink
something
something there. Yeah.
And anyway, the end of that race is fantastic. Like
Yeah.
they do a nice spread there.
They
highly recommend. It's probably one of the better ones in the country.
They really do. And I do remember we were at maybe mile 24, 25, maybe.
Oh yeah.
And we had this lady. Do you remember the walker lady?
Yeah.
We were in a neighborhood and we were running, but this lady was like power walking the marathon and she passed us. And I was like, oh shit.
Stop.
I was like, holy cow, man. So I mean, so we have seen a ton of people like that, over the years. So shout out. I mean, even if, for those of you listening and you're getting inspired by us telling stories about these races and you're thinking, I don't run. There are people that walk these things.
Yeah.
And
you just have to find the right race with the right cutoff times.
That's right. But this lady was power walking and she beat us. She definitely came in ahead of us.
Speaking of that, just a brief little side note, because I think it's important to note that a lot of people, and yes, 26.2 miles to this day, when we sign up the night before a race, we still look at each other and go, oh shit, we're really doing this. Another 26 miles. I'm running 26 miles tomorrow. It feels insurmountable, and it feels like this crazy thing that we're nuts for doing and an impossible goal. It's not. It's not.
No.
It starts with a single step. It starts with a quick jog to your corner. It starts with the first mile. It starts with the second mile. You don't just run a marathon or run 3 marathons in 90 days. You build to it. But I think it's like anything in life, and that's why marathoning is so cool, is that it's just such an expression of tenacity and really just setting a goal and then breaking it down into little steps to obtain that goal. So for anybody who's thought about it or thought never in my wildest dreams could I or would I ever do that, you can do it and you should do it. Just to know what it's like to cross the finish line.
Yeah, because and that's just so incredibly well said. It is such a test of the body and the mind.
Yeah.
And even though you and I have run all of these marathons together, we accomplish them ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like, nobody does it for you.
No.
Like, you do it yourself.
Although it is way easier with somebody that's fun to hang out with.
Yeah. Like, we've gotten to the point where we hate running by ourselves now.
No, she ruined me
it's
forever.
So terrible.
She ruined me after Marine Corps. I'm like, I'm ruined. I can never run by myself again.
And then I have to ask, did the left-right thing start in Rehoboth as well?
Ooh, good question. Maybe, because that picture...
You're on my left.
I'm on your left.
That's what made me think about it. So...
that picture, there's a picture on the wall here, too, of the finish line at Rehoboth.
You're on my left.
And You're on my left.
You're on my left on all 3 of those. So this is a weird thing.
And so what you're actually seeing of us is actually...
Lori's on my left.
Yeah.
Lori's on my left.
Always.
Lori's always on my left.
You're on my right.
And... I don't know how it started, but that is really weird looking at those pictures and seeing that when we're running, Lori is always on my left side. And now, and we'll get into later on, I mean, she carries a speaker now, a little JBL speaker. So the speaker is on her right hip, which is facing me.
Laura. Yeah.
But it's like, even when we sat down at this table and we didn't even say anything about like who would sit where, I just naturally sat on the right and I had the seat on the left for Lori. When we are walking casually, so say we're walking into the Eagles game together, right? And our husbands maybe are, ahead of us and so forth, and we're walking. And if she's on my right and I'm on her left, all of a sudden we stop and we look at each other and we move around. It's so weird and we can't explain it, but it's just right, left and right.
It's mental now. It's definitely a mental thing at this point.
It is. And I think do we even do our beds like when we're in?
Oh, that's a good question.
We don't.
Too.
We don't.
I don't think we do beds.
No, we don't, because I know that you've slept on like when we have like 2 queen beds in a hotel, you've slept on the right side versus the left side. So
that's weird though.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. How about that? How about them apples?
Anyway, so we digress. So back to the race. Also, as we were finishing that race, we were still listening to individual music at this point, because Laura just said that I carry a little JBL speaker now, which we will evolve into that. Probably we'll talk about that for sure next week.
For sure next week.
About Boston.
Yes.
But we were listening to individual music, and I'm guessing on mine, the song "Shut Up and Dance" came on.
Yes.
And it was towards the finish. I think we had maybe a mile left.
Yeah, we were like mile 25. We were inside the mile.
Yeah, and even though the lady was speed walking, I felt like I was running really fast.
Yes.
And the song came on, I was just jamming. I was vibing with it, and you were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, because I had like one headphone on, you had one headphone on, and then you start like singing it. I think you started singing it out loud. And then I'm like, dude. And then you unplugged your headphones and you just started playing it off of your phone.
Yeah.
And then we just started singing it at the top of our lungs.
It just hit. There was something about that moment that was so sweet and fun, and I just loved it.
It was like just quintessential. Like we just bonded over that, and we were like scream singing.
Scream
singing.
Like they get this. So where we are in the race is like we say, we're the back of the pack. So it's very unusual for people to be happy back there. I'm just being real.
Yes.
Like,
and we're always the happy. We're normally.
Usually there are a lot of people struggling. They're mentally struggling. Something has happened. Either they started injured and they're trying to finish injured, or they've injured themselves along the course and they've slowed down.
And we have fun.
Yeah, we're just slow. And people look at you and we're happy and we're singing.
Shut up and dance with me.
Yes. And people are like, what the fuck? But at the same time, I think you get that. But at the same time, we've had so many people out on the course with us that are like, oh my God, I need this energy right now.
And people like we end up being like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Where Forrest Gump is running and he has then, 100 people running with him. That's how we've been like the Pied Pipers in the back of the course.
Like cheering people on.
Because we bring that energy
this,
almost like all the time. And when I don't have energy, you have energy.
Yes.
You must always have energy. I'm usually like in my head going like, shut the fuck up, man. I'm like so miserable. But you rally me, and so forth. But that race.
You've rallied me too.
I know. But that race, the Shut Up and Dance. Now, the funny part about this, fast forward, 10 plus years, right?
Yes.
Is that during the Eagles games, last season they started this, right?
Yeah.
And at some point in time, it's usually in the first half of the game.
Although they have made us wait for it at least one game this season.
They did. One game they did not play it.
They didn't play it.
And I was a little annoyed.
Yeah.
But they play Shut Up and Dance. And so where our section is, we're in C36, you're in C35, 37. I always get that wrong.
Yeah.
So 37. And so Lori and her husband sit a little further, like down towards the field than us. But as soon as that song comes on,
it's usually kind of quiet too.
It is.
It's like at a weird time
it's at a
in the
weird
stadium.
Time.
Like it's not like they're rallying people.
Well, and it's usually they're trying to get people to get up and dance and stuff. And as soon as that song comes up, what do we do?
We're like two little weasels popping up out of a hole. We stand up.
We're pointing to each other. Shut up and dance with me. Now the best was when You and I wore
Oh,
the
the
green
green
Muppet jackets.
Yes, that was awesome. That was awesome. And it's funny to watch the people around us looking like, because I'm my back is to the field, you know, and I'm turned around and I'm looking and pointing at Laura, and people are like, "What the hell is she doing?"
And then I think that's when they realized, because then like we were wearing these bright green, like furry jackets.
Yes.
That look like Muppets. They
it's like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, look like a Kermit the
I
Frog
say
color.
that.
And when you stood up and then I stood up, the people that were in the suite behind us, because they had their window open, they were like, "Oh, we found your other person," you know, because they saw us like pointing at each
Right.
other and dancing and so forth. And I don't know, it's just like to me, like they just need to continue playing that song because I absolutely love that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna send an email if they stop.
Yes,
I will
yes,
send a scathing note to them.
yes. Well, we just need to go and give like feedback in our, you know,
Yes.
season ticket holder stuff. You know, when they give the surveys, like just keep playing that song, damn it.
Yes, absolutely.
So that was our shut up and dance kind of moment. But what did that eventually lead to music wise? What you had like an aha with this?
Well, when I unplugged the phone and we were listening on the speaker, I was like, geez, there's got to be some way that she and I can listen to the same. This is before where you could get on Spotify and have a group listen session.
Right.
Like, I know that exists now.
Yes.
You know, I'm not
That did
completely
not
out
exist.
of the loop.
It did not exist back then.
It did not exist back then. And I'm like, there are times when my music dips and hers is popping and she's got a great rhythm, and then the vice versa happens. But like, where can we be on the same page all the time?
Yeah, because half the time we'd be like, dude, what the hell are you listening to? Because all of a sudden, like, the pace started picking up. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think I just started kind of looking on Amazon. And I was like, little speakers. And I found a tiny little JBL clip. It was, you know, and I think no, it wasn't Amazon. It was Target. Because I could try them. I could try the sound of the speaker. You know how they have them like as examples where you can like
in the
listen
store?
to, where you can
Oh.
listen to them. And I was like, oh, that kind of has a great sound to it. So I bought one. And then I'm like, so we can do a playlist. We can make a playlist with songs you like and songs I like, and maybe
Took a life of its own, baby.
it did. I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe we can, you know, curate the songs from beginning to end of what a marathon would sound like. And if I wore it on my hip around with my race belt, then I could play it and she and I could hear the exact same and be on the same page with the same beat. So we started playing around with that after Rehoboth.
Yeah, so I think one of the fun things that we'll share in our future episodes is we got this idea, and I think you had the idea, is to find songs that mention the state or the city, that
yeah.
we're running in,
Yeah.
and include those songs in our playlist. And after the race was done, then those songs would come out. And man, we have found
Some doozies.
Some doozies along the way. Some states are much better than others. Other states, not so much.
Not so much.
But we will definitely share that, and we'll start sharing that next week when we
Yes.
talk about Boston.
Because I actually started pulling off those songs. I may have missed a few states early on, but I created a 50 states playlist. So I would pull them off of our main playlist as far as our marathoning playlist and put them in there. So I actually have a lot of those songs
It's gotta be
saved
the
in
worst.
in a
That's gotta be the
separate-
worst.
I've never listened to that playlist.
It's got to be the worst
Yeah.
playlist like ever.
Very bad.
Like very
I'm
very
sure.
bad. But I know that we have, you know, just some tried and true ones, right? So this was like a playlist that has been kind of like, it's just been massaged over a very long period of time. Massaged. I just said massaged. That's what she said. But we always start out with usually with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody, and then
Good Riddance.
Good Riddance, which
Yeah.
is Ned's song.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Ned's song?
Yeah. So, you know, Good Riddance by Green Day, and the one line is, you know, I hope you had the time of your life. And I don't know, the song, when I first heard it after my brother passed away, it was just one of those songs that you just connect to it. I still, you know, when when I'm thinking of him, or it just plays at these like really odd moments. You know, I'll be in the car and I'm driving and I'll hear it and then just instantly think of him. So it's kind of like that, you know, just that like nice little like angel song.
Yeah.
That you know, and you know, I love it that you're cool with always having it on the playlist.
Course. It is like Bohemian Rhapsody and Good Riddance. Like I find, you know, they always tell you not to go out too hard in a marathon.
Right.
And your instinct is always to feel that.
The surge. You go with the surge.
Yeah, you feel the surge of all that energy of people pushing and
hold
pushing,
it back. Yeah.
But just like
you want to lap onto it.
They're so excited and there's so much energy at the start of a race. Like everybody's pumped and ready to go. But like I find that having just a little bit of a slower song, like kind of building the pace as you go along is way better. And it kind of, we would always be like, we got all day. Like just take a deep breath and let's just chill and let that go.
Yeah. And we probably play, I want to say like slower. I mean, they're not slow songs, but slower tempo songs, probably up until like mile 5 or 6.
Yeah.
You know, and then the tempo starts picking up definitely by like the halfway point. Our playlist is kicking at that point in time. And then it gets like stupid shit crazy by the time we hit like 18 to like 21.
Mile 20, the drinking songs.
Oh yeah, the drinking songs, Red Solo Cup, and
we'll get to
yeah. We got some good songs that hit at mile 20.
Oh, you know what else I remember from that race, just real briefly?
Yeah.
The end of that race, we had this like so early on too, which I think this stopped. We would have our no shower happy hour, go back to the room, whatever, shower, and then we'd be exhausted. So we'd pass out.
Yeah.
We fell asleep.
Yeah, we did.
Without having dinner. We passed
and
out
no alarms.
at the shower. No alarms. We just fell asleep. We're like, we'll just take an hour nap. We woke up at 8.
Yeah, around 8.
8:30. And we're in a little beach town off season.
Yes.
So like, I was like, Laura, dude, we got to wake up. We got to eat dinner.
And it was like, oh my God, what time is it? It was so dark outside.
Yeah, I'm like, this is like dangerous because we need the calories.
Yes.
Like we need to eat something. And we like stumble out and we're like walking around Rehoboth just trying to find some random place. And luckily we were, which doesn't even exist anymore. We ate at this cute little place called the Green Turtle.
We were the only two in the entire restaurant at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it was like it was like a ghost
so...
town. And I don't even think... They don't exist anymore, so I can say I don't even think the food was that good.
No, it wasn't. It was like bar food. Yeah.
But
it was food.
I was just, for this podcast, I was researching it a little bit, like trying to find the name of the restaurant. It's been totally renovated. And it's now this place called Above the Dunes.
Okay.
It looks really cute. I don't know. At some point, if we ever wind up back down there, I would absolutely try that again. But
yeah, and the thing that you really need to pay attention to is, you know, the fact that when you do run a marathon, you burn a ton of calories, like you were saying. So it is very, very important to find food after the race.
Yeah.
You're going to be low on sodium, low on calories, your hydration level, despite no matter like what you drink, water, and we do drink water.
Yes, we drink water.
We drink water. We stay hydrated the entire race.
Yes, we overhydrate in preparation for what's happening at mile 20.
Yes, we do hydrate the entire race, but it is super important to ensure you keep your calorie count, you know, up after your run. But don't be stupid with it, right? Because you already ran the race.
Yeah.
So I think that's a mistake that I made early on when I was running. I'm like, well, I just ran 26.2 miles. I can go and eat like 10,000 calories now and so forth. And your body just isn't burning it, you know, like, you know, the way that it would if you were actually running with those calories. So that's something that I definitely learned, you know, along the way. But I definitely craved salty food earlier on. I think we talked about it earlier.
Oh, yeah.
You would crave burgers. I craved wings and whatnot. But yeah.
So question for you.
Yeah. I
feel like we should also touch for our listeners who may actually be marathon runners. And like, would you do Rehoboth again?
I would. It was a solid race. I liked the organization of it.
Yeah.
The communication from the director and the staff was very clean, you know, leading up to the race. getting the packet was great. It really wasn't a big expo or anything like
Don't they have
that.
a Saturday morning pickup? I feel like I remember them having a morning of pickup too, but I could be wrong about that.
You know what? We did. We
Yeah.
did pick up. Yeah, we
I
did.
think we picked up
We
on
did.
Saturday
And
morning.
it's not a big race.
No.
At all. And so, it felt like a really small town race. Like we said earlier, Delaware is pretty flat. Rehoboth is pretty flat.
Yeah.
And I know we didn't spend a lot of time in Rehoboth afterward because we left like Sunday morning pretty early, just because, your kids were young too
Yeah.
and whatnot. But I would recommend staying maybe an extra day in Rehoboth because it's got like a lot of cute shops and,
Yeah.
some great restaurants, and it's just worth the extra stay. So I would do it again in a heartbeat. Would you?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. It was a solid race. So Lori, let's talk about the Rehoboth swag.
I love the Rehoboth swag.
Right? We're for those of you who can't see us right now, if you're not on YouTube, because we're on YouTube on video, we are wearing these bright neon green shirts.
Yes. It'd be very great if you're hiking and hunting season.
Yes, you cannot miss us. So we did go and wear some jackets and a vest over our shirts because they are a little blinding.
A little.
a little blinding.
But it's a unique color. I don't really have anything else this color.
No, I absolutely love this shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, like the bright ones are like the favorites. But we've realized tonight that I got a long sleeve shirt
And I have a short sleeve
and
shirt.
you got a short sleeve shirt. So I feel like I got the better end of that deal because I
would
kinda,
wear long sleeve
right?
way more than short sleeve.
I really like the long sleeve.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, the weight of the shirt and everything
It's
is
nice.
it's just a really, really nice shirt.
I
I mean,
actually kind of like the pink too.
and the
Pink
fact,
with the
go
green.
us. These were from 2015 and these still fit us.
Yes.
Go us.
Go us.
All right. So why don't you describe the medals?
The medals are really cool. They're like a nautical life preserver. So they're white, round with red banding on it, and it just says Rehoboth Beach Running Company.
And they're heavy.
Yeah, they're heavy.
Yeah.
Got a nice ribbon to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
And your ribbon, so Lori's ribbon looks a little like it needs to be ironed a little bit. So why don't you tell people what you do with your medals?
So after every race, I finish the race. I hang them on my rear view mirror in my Jeep. So they, depending on when the next race is, it'll stay there until the next race I run. So this was the last race of the 2015 marathon season. So this sat on my rear view mirror until the fall of 2016. So it was, it's just wrinkly.
Yeah. Just a little wrinkly.
It's just a little wrinkly.
It's all good. It's all good.
They're all gonna be wrinkly. Every one of hers are gonna yin and yang.
Yes.
Hers are gonna look crisp and beautiful, and mine are gonna look jinky.
Yes.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay because that just became part of your thing.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what medal it was, but I remember there being one medal that, like, I think it was one of the Baltimore ones, the crabs.
Oh, I love that.
And it freaking nicked the hell out of your your dashboard.
Yes. Well, so did the Little Rock, Arkansas one. But
We'll talk about that one when we get to Little Rock. Yeah, that was a sweet one. So, all right, well, why don't you talk a little bit
Yes.
about next week?
So next week,
Yay!
we are going to skip over the 2016 season for now. We're going to circle back maybe and touch on it a little bit.
Just those races.
Yeah. Laura injured her back that season, so I was running marathon solo. She ran the halves of the marathons. And so we're just going to kind of touch on those states because we both reran states.
Yes.
So that we ran, aside from the ones, like there's a few that we haven't run together, but for the vast majority, like we reran those states.
But we
So
will cover every single state.
Yeah, we're going to cover
in the
every
country.
single
Yes.
state, but we're
They
just,
might be a little out of succession.
yeah, just right
Yes.
now, 2017 feels like the natural flow. So
Yes.
we're going to move on to Boston. So like if you're running in Massachusetts,
That
race
is the race.
is Boston. It's the race.
If you're running in the United States, it
If you're
is
running-
the race.
if
in
you're
the
running,
world,
period,
that's the
it's
race.
Boston.
Yes.
So Boston is part of a group of now seven marathons that are they're part of the World Majors, the Abbott World Majors. So that comprises of 3 in the United States, Chicago, New York, and Boston. And then there are 2 in Europe, London and Germany.
Yes.
There's Tokyo, and now they have just added Sydney. And I think that they are courting Cape Town, South
They're
Africa.
killing me, man.
I know. So, the goal is still to finish all the world majors.
We have 3.
We've got the 3 in the U.S.
Yes.
So we're going to touch on Boston, which is probably the most quintessential marathon that you can run. So I'm excited to get to talk about that.
Me too.
So for those of you who are joining us on YouTube, please hit subscribe.
Subscribe.
Yes. You can find all of our listening platforms on our Mile 20 Facebook page and on the Instagram page.
Mile 20 Podcast.
Yep. Mile 20 Podcast. So that is all for us this week. And we want to thank you for hanging with us today. Now go make Mile 20 your bitch.
Peace out.